Hello guys and welcome to QuipoIn. In the last video we discussed about HTML canvas and what are HTML canvas, what are transformation and animation in HTML canvas, how to draw graphics in HTML canvas. Now from this video we are going to learn about HTML SVG. So without any further delay, hit that like button and subscribe to QuipoIn and let's get started. Now what is HTML SVG? HTML SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, and as the name suggests, the SVG is drawn on a vector based graphic area and we use XML format to draw the graphics. As in Canvas we used JavaScript and draw it in a bitmap area, in SVG we used XML and draw the graphics based on vector. In this video we are going to again learn about the drawing operations, then the color gradients, and then how to use images in SVG. Now let's open the IDE and start. So I have written here the question that we are going to or the topics that we are going to discuss. So the first is SVG operations. In operations we will be learning about drawing rectangle, circle, line and polyline, path, text, polygon, and then we are going to look into SVG color gradient and then how to use images in SVG. I have already structured my basic HTML syntax and let's start. Now for using SVG we use a simple tag called SVG, and again as in Canvas I told you that we have to basically assign a frame so that we can draw our graphics in that. So again I'm going to define a frame, let's say of 500 cross 500 cross 500, and our SVG is defined. You can see the frame if you use called style, okay, and border, and let's say 3px solid one, and here you can see this is a 500 by 500 frame and this is my drawing area. In this area we are going to draw graphics. Okay, so now within this our SVG has been set up, and now we will be doing the operations, the basic operation that are rectangle, circle, line, polyline, path, text and polygon. The first one is rectangle. In the very first video I already told how to draw a rectangle in SVG. If you guys remember, that's really well and good. Otherwise again I am going to share how to draw rectangle. So we use something called tag called rect, and again there are a few values that we enter. The first value should be the x-axis, the second value should be the second value should be your y-axis, the third value should be your width, and the fourth value should be your height. Rectangle, and you can see we got a rectangle, and you can style it. You can just write fill and you can give your color to it. I give a red, and this is how you draw a rectangle in SVG. I hope it was clear. I'll just reduce it. Yeah, so I hope it was clear. Now let's see the another operation. The another operation will be circle. For drawing circle we use a tag called circle, and again when you give a tag you have to give its attribute. Here again I have to define the x-axis and y-axis. So in circle we use cx, and let's say I give it 100, and then cy, and I give it again 100, and then there is an attribute called r. This attribute is nothing but the radius of the circle. For example I give it 50, and I'll just change it. So you can see the circle has been formed, and again if you want to color it there is an attribute called fill, and I'll just light green, GHT light green, and the light green circle has been formed. And this is how you basically form a circle. And again, if you there's something, I'll just expand the attribute and will tell you more attributes in the circle and in a rectangle. Like if you want to give a border to the circle, how you'll do that? So for that we have something called stroke, and when you use stroke, let's say black, and you can see a border has appeared on the circle, and you can control the width of the stroke. For example, if I give this and width and I say like 4, so the like you can basically see how deepen it's get and how broader it's get. So this is how you basically draw a circle, and these were some attributes of the circle. And you can well use stroke width in rectangle and in other operations also. Now we are going to look into again, actually I forgot to mention here, let's learn about ellipse 2. Okay. And ellipse is also quite easy to draw in SVG. Basically we just use ellipse, and again same, Cx equals to let's say 350, and okay, my bad, and Cy equals to 350, and you have basically ellipse has a two radii. Okay, so the first radii will be my Rx, and let's say 20, and my Ry will be let's say 50, and yeah, and again I'm going to fill it with say blue, and this is how you draw ellipse in SVG. Now we have done the rectangle, we have done circle and ellipse. Now moving on, we will learn about the line. So for the line we used a tag called line, simple line, and again what are basically how you draw a line. We need 4 points to draw a line, or 2 coordinates to draw a line, x1 y1 x2 y2. So like there will be 4 values. X1 I say 20, and then there will be a value called y1, I say 30. So this is my first coordinate, that is 20 comma 30, and then we will get our second coordinate, that will be let's say 70, and x3 let's say 80, or sorry, not x3 but y2 is 80, and we need to use stroke to give border to the line so that line can be shown, because it can be of any color. Now it is of white color, and we need to show, because line is very thin and we need to show it. So let's say stroke is black, and you can see a line has appeared. Or rather, if I do this 1 and 500 and 500, now you can see a line. So this is a line, and again I told you how to manage the width of stroke. I already mentioned that in circle we use stroke width, and if I use 4, so you can see a line has been formed. Okay, so this is how you draw a line in SVG. Now we are going to use something called polyline. Now what is a polyline? Polyline is nothing but when we want to draw multiple lines, when we want to draw a shape using line, then we use polyline. And we use polyline because if we want to draw something like a mountain, but how to draw a mountain in graphics, so we will use polyline. This is just an example, and I'll show you how to use a polyline. For polyline, again we use a tag called polyline, simple polyline. And to define the polyline point, because it doesn't have any perfect equation, we use attribute called point and equal to. Now how to write these points in the polyline? The point are written in the format of x1 comma y1. Okay, so this is how you write the points in this is how you enter the value in point. So if I want to type x2 comma y2, then x3 comma y3, this is how you enter the point: x1 comma y1, then space x2 comma y2, then space x3 comma y3. So I'll just replace it. For example, let's say something called 1 comma 2. This is my x1 y1, then x2 y2 will be, let's say 111 comma 50, and then again x3 y3, let's give it something 200 comma 1, and again something 600 comma 50 will be our x4 y4. And again what we have to do to make our line visible is nothing but black, black. Okay, so this is a polyline. What you are seeing at the top, I'll just remove the border too from here. This is a polyline. As you can see, I entered the coordinate 1 comma 2, 111 comma 50, 200 comma 1, 600 comma 50, and this is how a line is created. And if you want to like fill anything, then you can just write here red, so you can see how two triangles have been formed. Okay, and how graphics is created, and two triangle has been formed. And if you do it none, then there will be only line and no fill will appear in from these 2 points. So this is how you use a polyline, and this is why you use a polyline. Now we have done the line and polyline.